We're back. The 12 days of best ball continue. We did a solo show Monday. We had Bime for Tuesday, Matic yesterday, and today it's my ship-chasing brother, Pat Kerrane. We're not even 12 hours distance from our last live stream over on Ship Chasing. Today we are going to draft a Ball Mania II team on Underdog, and then we will give away a hat to one of the good people in the chat. Let's do this.
Bro, I'm telling you, hop in these drafts when these idiot streamers are trying to draft and talk to the chat at the same time. It's so plus EV, bro.
Oh no, I think I accidentally just took Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs. What do we call that? A no-no.
No way, you don't have to set your lineup. That's incredible. And recently eclipsed 23%, and I'd much prefer it to be in the more 21 to 22% range.
NBC Sports Edge's Pat Kerrane. How we doing?
Doing good. Excited to draft again, Pete. It's as you said, it's been almost half a day, so we got to get another one of these going.
Yeah, we are giving you your fix of drafting. I'm doing a best ball draft every day on stream until I believe the Friday before Labor Day is what I decided I would do for some odd reason. And then Pat and I over on Ship Chasing, which you guys should definitely subscribe to. The link is down below. We do season-long high-stakes drafts over there, and we are during a stretch now of 5 main event drafts in 5 days. We're doing one tonight with Crack Rock and our buddy and co-host Ben Gretsch. That one's going to be really good too, Pat.
Yeah. The Crack Rock draft was our best team ever. We finished, I forget exactly where, but we finished top 50 in the main event last year with that team, and we're running that back. We got Gretsch on board this year, so that's going to be a really fun draft.
Yeah, managing teams for, I believe, 5 years now. And one thing that happens is Pat and I get in a very kind of overlapping group mind share. I mean, we have our little things that we'll see stuff differently, but normally fully on the same page. So getting to do drafts with other owners. Last night we did it with 2 guys from the Deposit Kingdom Discord, Silas and Gormanji, and we get pushed in different directions by other people's kind of takes and opinions. And I think that makes it so fun and also prevents us from drafting the same guys over and over.
Yeah, it does help. We got Barkley last night out of the 111. We went Stephon Diggs, and then it came back around, and we were kind of thinking Ridley, but Silas, one of our co-owners from the Discord, really wanted Saquon Barkley, so we grabbed him. Then it turns out we're in an extremely running back heavy room. So the fact that we got Barkley ended up giving us an enormous amount of flexibility, whereas Ridley, we would have had to make a suboptimal running back pick later. So that's an example right there of kind of a co-owner decision that got us on a really good construction.
For sure. And I did just register us here for this BBM2. I can already tell this is going to be way more of a friends and family draft than the previous couple I've had. I see Alhambra, who gets the 101. I see Clay. I see Herd Fan. I see KZ. So everyone's out. This is going to be a Ship Chasers kind of draft, Pat. Now, with Bime 4 on Tuesday, we had the 102, and we got funky with a Devontae Adams team. What direction are you leaning here with the 102?
I've still been going Cook. I've considered Kamara as well, just because I think his ceiling is extremely high. Like, his ceiling might rival McCaffrey if everything goes his way, where I feel like Cook doesn't have that pure ceiling.
I would be down to, I don't actually have a ton of Kamara shares. Are you rooting for Winston or Hill specifically in that Kamara outcome?
I'm rooting for Winston. And then it's like, you've got Callaway stretching the field, and you might have Kamara almost like the underneath receiver. Like, I think he could be in that kind of high volume of a role. At least it's possible.
So do you want to give
Thomas are huge, obviously.
You want to give Kamara a shot here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, the thing too is, Kamara will be able to get 2 interesting wide receivers there. If Kamara is generally going at pick 1, 4, 1, 5, if you're able to kind of sneak in a faller, although in this room, it probably won't be possible. It's probably all the wide receivers we normally like there will be long gone, but we shall see.
How many friends and family drafters are in this?
It's
'Cause
yeah, and
Adams
I
might be.
recognize I think it's like at least 75% friends and family.
Okay.
Yes. Uh,
Willis. Willis points out that technically I should have taken Antonio Gibson.
yeah, Pat was getting heat last night on Twitter because he wrote an article where one of his targets was Antonio Gibson, and now Pat has not subsequently taken Antonio Gibson in every single draft, and therefore he is a fraud.
Yeah, I got exposed. Touts exposed.
It kind of reminds me of a time when, I don't know, someone might have said that they only had like 12% Laviska Shenault instead of 20%, and then was told that he hates Laviska Shenault. It's how does it feel with the shoes on the other foot, Pat?
It's not, well, that person wasn't funny and charming, so it didn't work as well.
Yes, Alan, is that actually you? I misread his name yesterday. I still Shimmy Cocoa Pop, I think is the correct name, but I did say I think I said Shim my Cocoa. I can't keep track of all this stuff. There we go. Someone with conviction on Antonio Gibson there takes him at the 1-2 turn.
It's nice. Gibson Taylor, yeah. So this room is not, I mean, I'm not worried about this room at all right now.
That's true.
It's all I'm seeing is green.
You're right. It's not a ship chasing draft unless Calvin Ridley's going 104.
Right. I mean, it's all very conventional right now. Travis Kelce. Why is Travis Kelce falling? I've been doing some Best Ball Manias. I did like probably 4 or 5 Best Ball Mania drafts yesterday. And I got Kelce in 2 of them, like around this range, like at the 110-ish.
I have no idea. I mean, I think all the picks here are defensible. I mean, we talked a lot last night. I mean, the 3 pass catchers or receivers and then Travis Kelce. I mean, I always feel good coming away with one of those. So if people shuffle them up a little bit, I will say I've gone through waves where at first I was like, didn't mind passing on Kelce a little more because the tight end values were so nice. This was even back when like some of my targets like Everett and Kmet were much cheaper. And so I was like, you know what? I don't mind waiting a little bit on tight end. Now tight ends are kind of drying up more, and I'm starting to like the Kelce and elite builds even more.
Yeah, and if you're at the 110, you're not going to get Kittle all the way back, most likely. I've seen it happen like once, but
yeah.
But for the most part, if you want that build, you got to grab Kelce, and then at that point, you're potentially you're not passing on Diggs and Hill and Adams, so it's pretty sweet when it happens.
What do you think, Jefferson here, or do you want to do someone else?
I would be down for Jefferson or Waller. Do you want to do Waller, and then we can get Lamb or Keenan or Jefferson?
Yeah, it is definitely. I think we'll be completely happy. I'm going to guess Alejandro goes Jefferson and Lamb would be my guess if I know him. He might mix it up, but we'll get one of those 3. He goes Jefferson and Lamb. Look it. I got you. I got these guys pegged.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with Keenan in drafts. I don't know. He's someone that I get excited about. Also, Herbert is always one of the biggest QB fallers relative to ADP. So that stack ends up being cheap and nice. I don't know. Keenan doesn't feel super sexy, but I feel like he should be more of a sexy selection.
I do too. And if you just like eliminate the game where he had, where he shouldn't have played, where he basically lied to our faces and said, play me in fantasy. And then we did. And then he absolutely torched us. If you just take that game out, he had like 20 fantasy points a game in PPR last year. So, I mean, he was a stud, and I think that kind of left a bad taste in people's mouth a little bit. I don't know. I think like basically if he had sat one more game, his ADP might be more like the late second.
I would say the room finally came around on wide receivers here. Before that CEH pick, 9 straight wide receiver selections.
Yeah, DJ Moore in the 3rd round is more what I was expecting this room to do. So
let's see if Papa Roach stays true here or goes with Godwin.
I'd love to see Papa Roach go with another running back here. Is Papa Roach?
I don't recognize him, but we will cut his team into pizzas. There we go.
Well done.
Thank you.
You could write for Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Cut my team into pieces. This is my last running back selection. Suffocation. Starve the beast.
You called it.
What do you think? Our draft with Crack Rock tonight. I feel like this year I feel like we might even be more different strategy wise than we were last year. Last year, we kind of also just rolled over to a couple of Crack Rock's selections. You know, he invited us to do this draft with him. This year, I think, could be more lively with some debates.
What's our draft slot?
That's actually a good question. Let me pull that up. I just got the placeholder event on, and I can see what we are doing. Draft board. We are picking 11. God damn it.
What is up with our 11s, dude?
Pat and I, for those of you who don't know, we do these FFPC high stakes main event drafts, and we've literally non-hyperbolically had like 90% 11 draft slots. It's getting old.
Our first main was from the 11. The second main we did was from the 11. Then we did a football guys from the 11. Then our sixth main was from the 11, and now our seventh main is from the 11. So 4 of 7 main events have been from the 11, and we've had a football guys as well.
Yeah, it's
4 of 8, literally half of our 8 FFPC drafts have been from the 111. We're up.
This room is dried out.
Judy.
I mean, I don't mind taking Judy. Yeah. We gotta. So explain your analogy for these kind of draft rooms, Pat, for the people who haven't heard it on Ship Chasing, because I think it's the perfect analogy for someone going, well, how can you take Judy 6 slots ahead of ADP? The avalanche analogy.
Yeah, so when you're in this room, right, you've got to get enough wide receivers. If you get locked out at running back in one of these rooms, it doesn't matter because you're going to be getting like in the last rounds, there's actually quite a few running back flyers that are pretty nice. But you can't get locked out at wide receiver. If you do, your team's dead. So it's like you're skiing down this hill. There's an avalanche coming behind you, and you can take a little detour. You can kind of swing on the move. You can swing and you can scoop up a running back, but then you got to get right back down. Or you can scoop up Darren Waller, but then you got to get right back down. If you like pause and grab a cup of coffee with Josh Jacobs or whatever, you're going to die. The avalanche is going to come crashing through your cabin, and that's going to be that. So you got to always be on the move. You got to always keep going downhill with those wide receiver selections.
There you go. Let's see if Alejandro keeps heading downhill here. Robbie Anderson, Adam Thielen. You wanted to make it back-to-back Odell Beckham selections within 12 hours?
Sure.
Anyone else that you would consider here?
Boyd.
Yeah.
Or frankly, Debo. I think Debo would be fun here too.
Yeah, neither of those guys are making it back. I prefer Beckham, but yeah, we got to keep skiing. We got to keep skiing here.
Got to keep skiing, man.
Also for the people, I believe it was Monday, you guys were loving the ASMR of my melting ice cubes in my cold brew cup here. Listen to this for you guys. You guys like that? I know you like that. Like getting you all the little goosebumps, the hair just raising on your neck. There you go. This seems like a good time to say we are giving away an Underdog hat today. I will put that form in the chat right now. You fill it out. We'll draw a name, and I will send you previously unearthed recordings of me.
What?
Me with my glasses. This is an ASMR stream now. Silas, I think that was completely organic. I think that's just how it sounds when I bring the cup up to the mic. Nothing about this was forced. See, this is how I become an OnlyFans streamer. I start giving into suggestions like this.
as I just sit here uncomfortably.
What if I just muted you and just made you sit here for an hour while I do Foley artist sounds?
And I just put pick suggestions in the private chat.
Okay. This is what's not fun. Like Pat, you were posting Best Ball Mania drafts from yesterday. Josh Allen going 101, Marquez Callaway going at the 1-2 turn, and now we're in a classic June Ship Chasers draft when Laviska is going in the 5th round.
Yeah. Well, one of the tricks that I've been trying to do is waiting like 15 minutes during these streams and then entering a Best Ball Mania because all the sickos are gone. They're all distracted.
Yeah.
It's been great. I think maybe I was doing one. I wonder if the Swolecast was distracting people because there was one in yesterday afternoon that was like the softest Best Ball Mania I've ever been in.
Well, I might have been in a Best Ball Mania draft while recording the Swolecast yesterday, but it wasn't the softest one I'd ever been in.
Okay. I mean, they're not like, I would say they're not like insanely soft where it's not like DraftKings or something. You're seeing a few teams come out looking awesome. Like they've got like hyper fragile constructions. They're really well built. And then a few teams are just completely dead. Like 4 quarterbacks, 7 running backs, like 3 tight end. I literally there was a 4 quarterback, 7 running back, 3 tight end build. And so you're just like, oh, sweet. Like there's only 11 teams in this league. But some of the other drafters in there are still quite strong.
I think I sabotaged us by making you do the avalanche analogy right when some people might have started scooping some running back value.
Yes, that's true. Why did I tell everyone right as the avalanche was starting what was happening?
Yeah, it got pretty gross.
Though. I feel good.
I do too. We are going to be on the clock here. I almost think we should.
I love Fuller here.
Yeah, I was going to say Fuller, our guy, Devonta Smith as well. Alhambra is going to take whichever of those we don't take, but let's do Fuller. Fuller finally back at practice. There was the clip of him, running some routes. I thought it was hilarious that people said he looked incredible. I mean, he was just jogging down the sideline, but it is very good to see him back.
Murphy.
Quiet. All right, Pat, we're on the clock again. I think at this point at pick 74, I think I'm willing to take the Miles Sanders plunge.
Oh, I would take DJ Shark. I don't understand the discount on him at all.
All right, we can do Shark.
He's still the exact same guy.
And the other thing, did you see that Marvin Jones has a AC sprain right now too?
I blurbed it.
Did I see it? I'm the one who wrote the book on it.
I'm how you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got NBC Sports Edge getting in my head already. So
I do. Yeah, John, I would have been completely fine with Sanders. I also still think even I need to be reminded again at times that the best value in every round for the rest of this draft is going to be a running back. And the gap in palatable wide receivers is going to continue to widen. So I think Pat was actually correct in pushing us to another wide receiver there. I mean, we just had Rondale Moore go at pick 78. So
you can get we can fill the rest of our wide receivers at some point with dart throws, but it can't be like wide receiver 5 and on. Like if you're wide receiver 7+ or dart throws, I think you can survive it, but it's just not enough. Yeah. Because we took our team, we went running back, tight end. So there's teams here that are going to be good at wide receiver that are going to be winning the flex with a wide receiver. We want to be able to be at least in the mix there.
Yeah. Let's see here. KZ does end up getting Miles Sanders, obviously a very good price. And that's what's so funny too, is you can be like, oh my goodness, I got this running back value, relative to most other draft rooms. I got him 20 picks after ADP But in this specific self-contained room, you're way behind the 8 ball at wide receiver when you are scooping those values. So it kind of offsets itself because you still have to advance from this room to be able to take advantage of, a cheap running back in the larger field stuff.
Right. There goes Elijah Moore. That's actually a pretty decent value on Elijah Moore.
Yeah, it's weird how Elijah Moore's ADP was weird, because he shot way up after, he was tearing up camp, all the rosy reports. Then he got injured and Corey Davis looked so good in preseason that then he kind of dropped back down to like pick 108.
Right. And what also happened is he led the charge on the rookie love. There was a period where Rondale Moore and Terrace Marshall were still far, far cheaper than they are now, especially Terrace. And Elijah was like the only rookie with any steam. And then those two guys have gotten a lot of steam since, which we knew would happen, especially Rondale was like the easiest steam layup of all time. So those guys now, it's like if you're not wanting Elijah because of all that stuff you mentioned, then you can just take Rondale. Like it's an easy, there's other guys to go to.
Yeah. This is a very funny board right now. I can't. I think we have to take a gross running back. I think we take Josh Jacobs. I think this is very nice. Man.
You can't bring me on here and take Josh Jacobs.
Dude, Josh Jacobs
scroll down a little further.
No. We have 2 picks here. Pat, you need to wake up. Josh Jacobs is a smash here. Let me get my first share of Josh Jacobs.
Someone clip that, please.
Pat,
you need to wake up. Josh Jacobs is a smash here.
Pat, you have lost your marbles if you don't think Josh Jacobs is a smash here. Pat, you are off the reservation.
We're gonna get locked out of wide receiver because you had to have a cup of coffee with Josh Jacobs.
Which wide receiver do you want?
Devontae Parker.
Okay, we'll get him here. That's my point.
Look at Alejandro. He's gonna take our guy.
You guys have all lost your minds if you're not taking Josh Jacobs at pick 95. I will make bets with people on Josh Jacobs outperforming that ADP.
Yeah, but Pete, come on, give me a break. The 95, I mean, it's within the context of that we know the wide receivers are going to get taken this next round too. It's like,
but
sure,
there's no,
if we could sit back and get wide receivers we liked later.
There's no opportunity. There's no opportunity. Like I'll make a bet. You want to bet Josh Jacobs, Devontae Parker fantasy points this season? I mean, you guys have truly lost your mind. Trust me, I hate these guys more than anyone.
Well, it's about the 2v2 though, right? It's like the Devontae Parker and then the running back we can scoop later at an insane value plus the wide receiver, right? It is.
Hang on, we're out on the clock.
Okay, Parker got sniped.
Yeah.
All right. This is kind of what I meant, right? Now there's like literally no wide receivers that I want.
Well, I would
take a running back at this point. I mean, there's no one left.
Well, we took Darrell Henderson.
That's okay.
It's fine. Yeah, exactly. I think we have 5 wide receivers we're going to be able to fill with depth. I think you guys have lost your mind.
The room is right. Because Josh Jacobs, like, if we didn't have, I mean, if we had Parker and one of Jacobs or Henderson there, I'd feel much better. You wouldn't feel better?
No. No, I do wish we would have gotten one of the wide receivers there, but I'm just talking about Josh Jacobs in a vacuum. There's my one daily quota on it, where we think about the contingent values for the backup running back so much that we are not thinking about the outcomes for Josh Jacobs in contingent scenarios. Last year, Josh Jacobs was going on the 1-2 turn. That was absurd. Basically, nothing has changed this year, depending on how you feel about Kenyon Drake. There's almost no risk in an incredible amount of upside for Josh Jacobs to be the lead back at pick 95. I think we've gone too far if we're not scooping that up.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm just pushing back on the idea of at pick 95 because what's going to happen is all the wide receivers who normally go, after this are going to be gone. And all the running backs who normally go after this are going to be sitting there. So it's it just comes down to the 2v2s that we're going to be getting later. And I think we're going to prefer the one where we took Devontae Parker. Like that 2v2, I think will ultimately end up being better because there's going to be some crazy value on a running back, I think. I mean, I guess everyone here is going to ultimately need to take some running backs too. So maybe this was the perfect spot to scoop, but it's a bit dangerous.
The mistake was not. Here I will rephrase. I think the mistake was not doing the receiver first, knowing Alhambra wasn't going to take both Mike Davis and Jacobs, or even if he did, that was still there. So we lock it up. I guess I mean, Josh Jacobs 40 picks after ADP is just very hard for me to pass up.
You just fell in love, man. You tuned out the world and you got your guy.
I will happily put my money where my mouth is on that. But I get the context of this room.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. No one's. I do like what these rooms allow you to do. Where you can go, I don't know, man. I think Josh Jacobs is a great value at pick 95.
He is. And I don't even necessarily. I like Mike or Devontae Parker, but I don't think he's like a guy that we're going to lose sleep over passing on.
No, I agree. I mean, he's like the most unexciting wide receiver pick ever. If he gets to us, I think we go Herbert here.
Let's see. Yeah, that looks very nice. Again, I don't think I've ever seen Herbert this late. No, there he goes.
We should have taken him over Henderson, probably.
Yeah,
so we were thinking wide receiver, running back.
Let's see what other stacks do. I mean, so we still have plenty of stack outs. Lawrence, Tua. We have Baker. I don't even know if we need to go quarterback here. Do you want to grab a wide receiver?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I would do Crowder. I would do Shepard.
Yeah. Let's do Shepard. Just play the ADP game a little bit.
What are we looking at running back wise? If there's someone very strong, we could just close it out.
AJ Dillon. Alhambra is going to take him though. Yeah, man, the Herbert snipe stings.
It really does.
Alhambra really using the clock today here.
Michael Carter, that's interesting.
Yeah, I ended up taking him in the big dog the other day. And of course, he goes AJ Dillon. What are you thinking here?
Wide receiver. I do Crowder.
Crowder, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been taking Tyrell Williams in this spot too. Although now he's banged up a little bit. I like Crowder still though.
I think Williams is fine. It's just I think it's a minor thing. But yeah, it's a good spot to take Tyrell Williams too.
He all stuff out of camp is like he's the guy. Did you see the stuff about Brashad Perriman being on the roster bubble?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah. It was similar to the Latavius thing where it was like, yeah, he might not make the team, and they're like, he'll probably make the team, but this is just trying to illustrate that he's not having a good camp.
Wow. All right, I need to get more Tyrell. He's someone I've taken him, but it's like he's one of those guys that I've sort of taken, but then I don't have like a feel for when to take him yet. You know what I mean? He's not like enough part of my mix of like, I'm like, oh, this is kind of the Tyrell zone.
Yeah. And where do you feel? So if Perriman if he is not a factor, and then you're going to probably have Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, it sounds like it's Cephas and Khalif Raymond for that third spot. Cephas becomes kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Cephas is really slow. Like he had a crazy slow 40, but otherwise he was an interesting prospect. He wasn't a great prospect, but he's one of those guys where you're like, huh, this guy's got some traits that are interesting. So if he gets an opportunity, I would definitely mix him in the 18th round.
What is he like? His profile, is it poor man's Diami Brown kind of thing?
No, he's more of like a possession guy, really, I think.
Okay.
But, yeah. I'm trying to think who he compares to this year.
I always have PTSD from that the year where Tyrell Williams was going to, be the wide receiver 1 on the Raiders and then just never did anything at all. But when he plays his role as just a downfield deep threat, I think he's pretty good. But I mean, all we've ever seen was him kind of losing, targets to someone else, whether that was Aguilar or Waller or whatever. He just hasn't really materialized, but they say he's having a good camp. So I don't know.
What about your guy, Chris Conley, is like a flyer type? He looks like a big, from the preseason, it looked like there's paths where he ends up being like a pretty high target getter for Houston. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get grosser.
I know it's hard not to take Nico Collins just as kind of, but
that's who I take. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we generally get overexcited about these rookies, and I don't know, Chris Conley, he became kind of a punching bag for DFSers just as like an air yards guy that was, inefficient at times, but we know he's drawn targets at basically every step of the way. I don't know. I don't mind that as a late round flyer. It's just so hard to now, like, are you stacking him up with someone? Is it just like a random dart throw? What are you, in what context of teams are you drafting him?
Well, I'm in some 35 round best ball drafts over at NFFC, and that would be the context.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's tough to get to some of those guys on Underdog with only 18 rounds.
Yeah.
Especially too when we're generally getting our 8th wide receiver well before the 18th round, or if we get clarity on the situation too, the quarterback situation, it just gets a lot easier to backdoor stack. Now stuff with the Broncos, grabbing the Hamler and then going Bridgewater. Now that we have that news, I think it's nice to have that clarity.
Mm-hmm. Although I'm not including Bridgewater in stacks. I don't trust him to hold the job.
Really? I'm going to start mixing Bridgewater in here. Connor looks pretty nice to me.
Connor. Yeah. And then we're done at running back.
Yeah. Done at running back. Kamara, Jacobs, Henderson. Let's just also check QB real quick. Making sure. Yeah.
Alejandro has a quarterback.
Yeah, we should be good.
Who's his quarterback?
His quarterback's Dak.
He doesn't have Visca. It'd be a bit odd if he went Lawrence here.
Yeah. Burrow continuing to slide a very good bit. You want to lock up Lawrence?
Yeah, let's just take Lawrence.
All right. We now got the 1-4-7-1. We can push it at tight end with Waller, where we have flexibility at quarterback now, and then a couple more wide receiver dart throws. We're going to get to really flex our deep wide receivers here. It's going to be Brashad Perriman staring at us at the top of the queue.
Yeah, we're not doing that, but I feel good. I feel like we recovered. Like the Sterling Shepard, Jamison Crowder picks were pretty gross, but we kind of made up for, like, you get the Josh Jacobs discount and then you have to pay for that with Sterling Shepard and Jamison Crowder reaches.
Yes.
But all in all, it's probably worth it.
No, and I will definitely take the L on we should have prioritized wide receiver, because both Ruggs and Parker were there. In my head, I thought he would split two, and I was like, let's get Jacobs. He'll take one of those two and one of the running backs, and then we'll get one of Ruggs or Parker. And he made us pay by taking both. So in hindsight, definitely would have done Parker and then gotten one of these running backs. Then this team looks a lot nicer. I think
that would have been interesting too.
Yeah. But I should have known Alejandro was going to make us pay.
Well, good on him. But and I will say, I mean, where are you at on Daryl Henderson? Because I mean, that I can't tell if I like it because of like the value in another room. Like it's tough to gauge if he was a value in this room, is what I'm saying. But I'm still kind of in on Daryl Henderson.
Yeah, so I've gone back and forth on this. So yesterday when I was reading up on it and thinking about the context of how they lost Raymond Calais, how Darrell Henderson, hurt his thumb or whatever, and they're sitting here thinking like, we literally have 2 healthy running backs and Darrell Henderson on our roster. They had to add a body. So that's the one thing that makes you think, okay, maybe Henderson's fine. This is just depth. But then they use pretty significant draft capital to go trade for Sony Michel. Like they went out of their way to get Sony Michel as opposed to just signing a dust ball free agent. And I think Sony Michel's skill set is a little scary for Henderson, especially because the role that I think is most ambiguous is who's going to be catching the passes. And Sony's looked pretty good catching passes. So I'm a little more worried about Sony than I was yesterday, but I think most of the risk is completely baked out at around a pick 100 for Henderson.
Yeah. Although I don't think it was significant. I mean, I believe it was a 6th and a 4th.
I think it was a 5th and a 6th conditional. Someone said that was like the equivalent of a 4th round pick.
Oh, here it is. They get, if it's not a 4th round compensatory. So basically, I think what the Patriots did is they said, if you basically let Michel go and then you'll get a compensatory pick, I guess because he was a 1st round pick or something. There's somehow the compensatory pick system might award the Rams with a pick, and the Patriots were like, we want that pick. If that comes to pass, we're getting it.
Right. What do you think here? We're almost on the clock. I was going to suggest Sammy Watkins, and then he goes. Let's see here. I mean, we could take Cole Kmet and be done at tight end. Tua did go off the board, so he's gone. We could get Zach Wilson next pick or this pick. What do you think?
Let's say Kmet.
Yeah. Definitely don't have to prioritize Kmet with Waller, but there's not really good options. And I think in these kind of builds, you think about Waller as being your flex play each week, and you think about Kmet as your tight end when you do that move.
Yeah, I don't love it, but I just like there wasn't much here. Kmet's like a pretty nice value here, and everyone else is bad.
Yeah, so as far as the QB situation, we could just lock up Zach Wilson to make sure we have that stack, and then we also will have a backdoor guy with a Keelan Cole, Denzel Mims type if we want.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'll opportunity cost is nil.
Yeah, I mean there's some flyers I like here, but I think we can just stack a few of these guys at the end. This will have 3 straight wide receiver picks at the end with these flyers.
Yep. Which I think is all right. Right. We got enough guys who are legitimate NFL players.
That trade had to be updated, Josh said. It turned into a 2022 6th and a 2023 4th for Michel.
Interesting. The NFL said future compensatory selections can't be traded. That's a bummer. The Patriots found this cool way to do a trade, and the NFL was like, no.
It does sound very Patriots-esque to kind of break the system to where they have to do it. It's the equivalent of when you do the trade in your league, and then there's like a Gmail thread that gets capped because everyone's upset with what just happened, and the league has to come out and be like, no. The commissioner says you can't do that, Patriots. I will say, as far as the gross wide receiver selections, the chat is talking about Colin Johnson. Definitely a couple good options. Speaking of Jacksonville guys, the one guy who's been getting buzz and was even playing a decent amount in the preseason, and I feel gross saying it, but Philip Dorsett has been getting some love on the Jags.
Come on, man.
I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures.
We can't be drafting Philip Dorsett.
I'm just saying, if Colin Johnson goes, which there's a very good likelihood he will.
You about to tell John Ross next? What's going on?
I like these guys. I'm posting the form in the chat once more. This is your final chance to submit your name to win an Underdog Fantasy hat. The only way to get these hats is via giveaways. Fill it out, and we will do that drawing at the end. All right, let's see what's going on with the board here. All right. You know, it's that kind of draft when Tyron Johnson goes in the 14th round.
Yeah. Nico Collins, 1601.
This isn't bad on
2 rounds.
Quez there looks pretty nice.
Yeah. Quez is a starter. I think Quez is going to ultimately be going in the 14th, 15th round. In real rooms.
The blurb I saw was he was playing in the slot, and then it's Smith and Rager outside.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's kind of an under the radar thing, is that Greg Ward is not good. So there's always been kind of a path to someone else taking that job. And it's exciting that that could be Quez. And then maybe I would hope Quez moves on the outside and they bring in Smith or they bring in Rager and they kind of have some versatility, because Devonta Smith and Jalen Rager could play out of the slot too. And Quez obviously has the speed to play outside. So that would be pretty fun if they mix things up a little bit.
Well, and was it that the hallmark of the Eagles that you were always pounding the table about, is that they love rotating their wide receivers? Or did you just mean snaps, or actually where they're using them in the field, on the field?
I meant snaps. So they were doing it in a bad way. Like, they were doing it in a way where Greg Ward was constantly playing out of the slot and no one else got slot snaps. But then, Alshon Jeffrey's coming on the field and Travis Fulgham's coming off, to the point where apparently Travis Fulgham had like a meltdown, and that's why he was not playing at the end of last year, because he was so pissed Alshon Jeffrey was playing over him, which I kind of get. And then like Rager would come off the field, so Hightower could come on the field. They didn't want to have like Hightower only run deep routes. They wanted him to be on the field enough so that like the defense didn't know what he was going to do. Yeah. But it led to a weird situation where about 4 or 5 guys were getting, mixed in with meaningful snaps.
If Fulgham is dust, I mean, that rotation should hopefully tighten.
Hopefully.
I say we get Colin Johnson, lock him up.
Oh yeah, that's good. Let's get Colin Johnson. The other names that jump out to me here are, honestly, Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, I've been drafting some Renfrow. I mean, it sounds like he's locked into 3 wide receiver sets, and John Brown is the odd man out.
Yeah, he's a starting wide receiver. He was cooking Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah. The other thing,
did you see that Ramsey clip?
No,
because there was all this reports that Hunter Renfrow was just like toasting Jalen Ramsey, according to the Raiders beat writers. And then he was like, I went back and like looked for when I was toasted, and like I can't find anything, guys. he's like I tried, like I was curious when I was toasted.
That's so good. I want to address this question. If you're reaching that hard for Philip Dorsett, who's going to score under 60 points this year, blah, blah, blah. So first of all, I would argue that there, at this stage of the draft in a wide receiver heavy room, there is no reaches on wide receiver. The play with Philip Dorsett is just getting correlation on the quarterback. I much prefer Colin Johnson, who we selected, but a few things that I think are important with these late round flyers: getting the correlation either with your quarterback, maybe a bring back stack from weeks 15 through 17. And number 2, just the benefit of getting a unique player. Sometimes I was talking with Beim4 on Tuesday. I was even tossing out maybe taking Kendrick Bourne in a Mac Jones stack. I know it's gross, but you're getting a player that's going to be owned by less than, 1-2% of the field. And sometimes I think there's a lot of value in that, because the opportunity cost is low and the probability bets of all these guys are fairly similar. So in the same way, Pat has talked a lot about using kind of like the camp reports as your new kind of flavor of the week at running back. I sometimes like doing that with correlated wide receivers. Who are the guys that are getting some buzz? And Philip Dorsett was getting a lot of run in the preseason. So he's not a guy I'm pounding the table for, but I don't think that thought process in general is wrong for these tournaments.
I also think we're looking for a guy who can get like Hunter Renfrow, right? We're hoping there's a week in here and maybe like 3 weeks in here where he has like 7 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown or something, and
Yeah.
that's enough to get in our lineup, where I don't think most of the running backs here are going to have a lot of like true spike week potential. I guess it's certainly possible, just because of the board, that maybe a running back would make sense with the final pick as like a more contingent value play. If wide receivers totally dried up, we don't have to force that.
Yeah. We don't. I also think in this bill, I know he's, fallen out of favor, but when things have thinned out at wide receiver, I think grabbing a Denzel Mims can make a ton of sense on a build like this.
Yeah, I'd do that. Gerardo points out Tutu Atwell as well.
Yeah. I was talking with Davis with this yesterday. I have been rotating through Djax, Tutu, and Van Jefferson. I never know which one to take when I'm looking for a Rams wide receiver. I have like no conviction on any of those guys. I can see the case for all of them.
I take Jackson way more than the other guys.
So just going back to the Denzel Mims thing, what's your take on that right now with, obviously the 3 wide receiver sets going to be Moore, Davis, and Crowder, but where are you on Cole versus Mims?
Well, Cole was a guy that they have wanted for years. The general manager really likes Keelan Cole. I think he tried to trade for Keelan Cole. So they land Keelan Cole, and they're excited to get this guy. That coincides with Mims having like a pretty serious like stomach bug, or so he lost a ton of weight. He lost like a bunch of weight, and it's taken him a long time. Like I think he's just now starting to kind of get back to where he was. And so he's out there, not like a shell of himself, competing against someone they're really excited to get. And then his skill set also doesn't really match what they're trying to do. They don't want a contested catch guy. They want a yards after catch guy. So he's kind of behind the 8 ball all summer. But I would rather bet on Denzel Mims than Keelan Cole over the course of an NFL season. I mean, you're betting on him to basically impress guys throughout the year and earn more playing time. And then, like, I think the reason to take Denzel Mims here is because we have Zach Wilson, and we're like literally doing kind of the DFS version of stacking, where maybe in the playoffs, Mims is finally emerging as an outside wide receiver.
Yeah.
And we're getting a big spike week out of him and Wilson.
Yeah. And even though wide receiver got gross, I mean, this is still how I prefer to build my teams, with those double stacks. Like I do really like having the double stacks at quarterback, especially for quarterbacks like Lawrence and Wilson, who are, there's a black box element to what they're going to be. And if they pay off and help us win this league, I mean, at least one of those wide receivers we drafted with them are definitely coming along for the ride.
Yeah. I mean, we might have like DJ Shark. I truly don't understand. I mean, I know here it's like you took him 13 picks ahead of ADP. It doesn't look like we got a value, but we did. We got a huge value on him relative to the other wide receivers that were going. And you're getting him in like the 8th, 9th round right now in these other rooms. I truly don't understand. One of the weird things about this offseason, it feels like if guys aren't practicing, they're all kind of treated similarly. It's like he's dealing with a broken hand. I know there's been some like less than stellar reports about how they feel about him and stuff. Like, he's played small last year, but he did actually gain a decent amount of weight. Like he took the criticism and changed his body. Like it's not, I don't think that he's going to get like phased out of the offense. I wouldn't put the risk of him getting phased out at like 0%, but I don't really understand why there's a huge discount on him, because the upside is that he's the number 1 wide receiver in an offense that is much more up tempo than it used to be. I mean, so the other thing with Shark is that he's been playing in slow offenses in Jacksonville. He's one of the holdovers. So he's one of the guys who really stands to benefit if this offense ends up running a lot more plays. And the quarterback play is going to get a lot better. We know that. I mean, that's a lock. So I don't know. I mean, obviously I love LaVisca. I've taken a ton of LaVisca, but the Shark discount is awesome, and I'm scooping it up.
Yeah, I'm glad that you've kind of got me back thinking about that. He was definitely a guy I've kind of just pushed down mentally, and I need to adjust. I think that's something that you have to kind of actively work against, because we talk about inertia and getting anchored to the ADPs. That also happens with us in our own kind of styles of drafting or our micro player takes, that we just get anchored to them, and it's really hard to bust out of them unless you're, talking to people and, thinking through a different lens on these guys. But I'm completely with you. The Chark stuff is probably gone too far. And yeah, the people want us to sauce a couple teams. We'll sauce a couple teams here just to kind of recap on ours. And Pat was completely right, looking at the 2v2 on the thing here. I mean, basically what it ends up being is like a Parker and who would it have been? It would have been a Parker AJ Dillon versus Jacob Sterling Shepard. And obviously we took the L on that 2v2.
No, actually, I don't know. I think I'm okay with Jake. I'm okay with the Jacob side there.
Yeah.
If it was a better wide receiver, if it was like, if we had just gotten even kind of a little bit above that, like if it was Elijah Moore, Terrace Marshall, then I think clearly we want the wide receiver early side, but Shepard's fine. Shepard and Parker aren't that different.
Yeah. But overall, other than that kind of misstep, I really like this team. Like I said, we have the double stack. We have a concentrated bet on the Raiders. And the other thing we did well, I think, is, sometimes when you do these, true zero RB builds and you're just getting monster wide receivers, there's no really room for the Sterling Shepard, Crowder, Renfrow types in your lineup because they're not meaningfully contributing to the flex. In a build like this, where we did feel a little thin at wide receiver in the middle, I think having those kind of high volume slot receivers is a really good way to kind of boost the floor of your team.
I agree. Yeah, we were looking for, I mean, we're swinging for singles with Crowder and Shepard and Hunter Renfrow, but like those singles will help this team in ways that it probably wouldn't help a lot of the teams that we build. I'm going to take the L on the Josh Jacobs thing. I actually think you were right. I think Josh Jacobs was the pick there because Devontae Parker isn't that different than Jamison Crowder. And
I love how we completely swung around because I don't want to stop taking the L on it. And now you do. Casey, you need to justify taking a guy in DeAndre Swift in the early fourth who's now routinely falling later than that and has a very bad groin injury who the head coach doesn't even know what kind of load he's going to be able to take in a wide receiver heavy draft room. So you go to justifying that, Casey. I'll sauce the shit out of you. Who else
completely lost your marbles if you don't think the Josh Jacobs pick was good.
Let's see here. Alex wants us to sauce him. We'll sauce a few teams here. Saucing the 101 teams. Okay, I don't like 3 quarterbacks with Dak right off the bat. Running backs,
don't like that.
Fine.
Wait, what were the running backs?
Running backs, CMC, Carter, Dillon, Madison.
So one thing I'll say is that knowing the room you were in, what I would have done, and what you did was fine at running back, but what I would have done is I would have skipped probably one of Carter and Dillon and then played it like super late, like taken that pick and then taken 2 flyers. So done like kind of a hero running back build, grab a 5th running back, but not, although maybe the wide receiver opportunity cost was essentially none when you took them. But that's generally like when I have CMC, I'm trying to keep like, I wouldn't really ever go like CMC, Carter, and Dillon these days.
Yeah.
What do you got on that beat?
Yeah. I think CMC just kind of gives you a get out of jail free card for almost whatever you want to do at running back. And I think these 4 are completely fine in that context.
Yeah, it's a nice build around CMC. I've been kind of trying to think like, can I keep the cost even lower? At running back.
To me, the one thing I just switch is Winston to a 9th wide receiver in this build. I think I also don't mind pushing it with just Goddard and Gesicki, but I see he had the double bye week, so he wanted to cover that. But I think the main
pick 144. I mean, it's a cheap Goddard share. I would have gone 3 tight ends here, I think, with the big discount on Goddard, and then you're like, I only spent like $2, $3 on this guy.
Yeah. I like the double with Kirk there, and then I think you're just done. You turn Winston into a wide receiver, and you're good to go. Let's see. We'll sauce a couple teams. I'm not going to be able to max the puppy 3, as you can see here. I'm going to be already stretched thin trying to get in big dogs and finishing out Best Ball Mania 2. So I'm probably done with puppy 3s unless I get really hammered one night and want to fire one. Let's see. Who else wanted? Clay wants the sauce. Can Clay handle the sauce here? And then we'll do the giveaway. Lance and Darnold, which is a very popular quarterback combo. I believe there's been tweets about how Sam Darnold is the perfect quarterback to pair with Trey Lance.
Yeah, someone won't shut up about that, and and now everyone's on.
Aaron Jones, Javonte Williams, Ronald Jones, Justin Jackson. I think that's a very nice running back room there.
Me too.
Moore, Ayuk, Williams, Hardman, Terrace Marshall, Diami Brown, Palmer, Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Moore, Richie James, Kittle, and Tunyon. So he gets the double stack with Lance. He gets the double stack with Darnold. I think, triple stack with Darnold. Triple stack with Lance. I don't know if Darnold is the kind. I'm open to triple stacks on truly elite offenses. I don't know if the Panthers are a team I want to super stack at wide receiver.
Yeah, it's not something I'm really looking to do either. But I guess what was the other stack?
The 49ers. He tacked on Richie James.
Okay, but he got Terrace and DJ, but
David Moore.
David Moore. Yeah, I mean David Moore. It's like I wouldn't really be looking to do Robbie, DJ, and Terrace just because of the price,
right?
But you could be looking at just like a big week from Darnold at the end, and DJ Moore, pays off that.
The other thing I wouldn't do here is so what we did. We had Waller, and then we did take Kmet later than this. I mean, like 60 picks later and a few picks after ADP. When you have Kittle, you've been kind of given the gift of to just wait for your second tight end at basically any point. So I think reaching ahead of ADP in this kind of room for your second tight end is probably not optimal.
The other thing I'll say is that together, Mike Williams, Mecole Hardman, and Terrace Marshall are like okay for your 3, 4, and 5. But like any one of those guys is a pretty weak wide receiver 3. So I would have liked that pick to have been a wide receiver, because then you get like that group plus a wide receiver there plus Diami Brown. That feels pretty good, wide receiver 3 through 7. But as it stands, I feel like you're kind of missing like one wide receiver in that exact range.
Right. Yes. This these drafts, they mess with our heads. They throw ADP out the window.
Like where do we get Crowder? Like Crowder or Shepard? Like I think a Crowder or Shepard would have been nice on this team. I know it's gross, but
yeah, we took Crowder at pick 122. So yeah, in that similar range. All right. We are going to do the giveaway here for the hat. Compliments of our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. If you guys are getting new or are new to the best ball streets here, you can sign up on Underdog, promo code Pete. You get $25. Your min deposit's $10. So you're getting a free $15 on Underdog there relative to your buy-in. Not too shabby. Let's do the wheel spin here. And also I should mention, guys, I'm supposed to do a draft with a randomizer draft with Silva tonight. I haven't heard back from him after we had a scheduling snafu. I'm trying to get that scheduled. I'm either going to be scrambling to find a guest, or Silva and I will probably be doing it in late afternoon, early evening. So let's cross our fingers that works out. And then Pat and I are doing our main event draft that we mentioned earlier with Gretsch and Crack Rock tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on Ship Chasing. You can just type in Ship Chasing into YouTube. You'll find the channel. We're streaming drafts all the time. It will be fun. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. The winner of a hat. Could it be Phil? Could it be Phil? It's Phil. Phil wins.
Congrats, Phil.
All right. I need to apparently block some spam in the chat. Pat, tell the people what you have going on at NBC Sports Edge.
Yeah, NBC Sports Edge. Next Tuesday, going to have Rich Rebar on A Good Football Show. Tuesday at 2:30 Eastern. We stream live to YouTube. Obviously, iTunes, wherever else for the podcast. We're going to be talking about kind of the hinge points of the 2021 season, like does Antonio Gibson catch passes? Because then if he does, 2021 is completely different. Or does Austin Eckler get a goal line role? Because if Austin Eckler gets a goal line role like this season, it's like it flips the season on its head, to use one of your favorite expressions, Pete. So that's going to be a fun topic. Rotopat, Rich Rebar, and I will be talking about that. And then I'm also working on the Legendary Upside article finale, where I actually apply the Legendary profile to the early round running backs and figure out who I think can, or who are the best targets for trying to hit these running back seasons that truly win you your league.
Awesome. Yeah, and I assume it's just going to be a 2-word article that says Antonio Gibson, with the implication that you just take him in every single draft.
You just take him in every single draft, and if you draft anyone else, you're a fraud. And it's pretty simple article. I don't know why I've been having it in the hopper so long, since it's literally just 2 words.
There you go. Ask Rich about Devonta Smith, because they took them in their main event draft last night. Davis said Rich was high on him, and I need some confirmation bias on our Devonta Smith selection from last night.
Yeah, I wonder if one of them, like the Eagles end up passing a lot. That could be like a hinge point as well, because everyone's assuming kind of a low volume Hurts. There's not a ton of optimism about anyone else but Smith. And then if they pass a lot, then obviously Smith could smash if he's able to transfer the talent he just showed. So that's another interesting one.
Yes. So check out that in Pat's forthcoming articles on NBC Sports Edge. The 12 Days of Best Ball will roll on tomorrow. Actually, 2 best ball streams. Going to be doing one on Splash Play with Chris Spags. We can't just do regular draft streams, though. So we're going to, for some reason, we're eating an entire pizza while doing a draft. So that will be interesting. And then I'm also doing a best ball draft with Liam, my chess coach. And we are going to do, Pat, hand in brain chess and hand in brain best ball draft. So he's going to be my brain for chess and tell me the position or the piece to use. And then I make the move. And I'm going to be the brain for the draft, tell him the position, and he picks the player. And we're going to do these simultaneously.
When is this? I've got to watch
this. Tomorrow. Yeah, right. It's going to be a shit show. So 2 drafts tomorrow. And then Saturday, I booked Jen Eakins from 4 for 4 for a morning stream. Yeah, so she's going to come on at 10 a.m. and we'll keep these rolling. Pat and I doing drafts over on Main Event. Hope you guys have a great day. And hopefully I'll see you guys later this afternoon for a stream with Evan Silva. I'll keep you posted in the Discord.